Hey and welcome back to Living with Pixels. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create a multi-language website with Elementor for free. So this means that after watching this video you can offer your clients this feature where users can click on a different flag and then the translation of that specific page will show up. Also, the menu will change as you see here. This even works with Elementor Pro elements like the header and the footer. So when you click on the translation, the header and the footer template will also change. You can set it up with flags like on this website, or you can set it up with land codes like this, Netherlands and English. Or if you're really creative, you can set it up to both. This also works perfectly on mobile phones as you can see in this preview. And like I said, this is completely free to do, which is always a good thing. So let's just get started with this tutorial. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna work with this website, which is not multi-language right now, and I'm gonna transform this into a German and English website. Right now, this website is German, so I'm gonna add English as the second language. Okay, so before we get started, you need to know two things about how this works. First of all, you have to decide what the default language of your website is gonna be. This website in particular is a German company, so they want German to be their default language and then English and France as an extra. But for most of you guys, I think that English is gonna be the default language and then you wanna have another language on top of the default language. So this plugin needs to know what the default language is because the translated pages are gonna be based on the default language that you have to set up inside the plugin. So if you don't know what the default language should be, then of course ask your client and then you can set it up inside of the plugin. The second thing that you need to know with this plugin is that you should do this when the website is almost completely done. The reason is because this plugin makes a copy of the existing pages that you already have created. So for example, when you have the home page in German and you want to add the English translation, it's gonna copy all of the Elementor sections and elements inside of that page. So if you're gonna do that from the start, then you have to copy all of those sections afterwards because the pages are already created. That's not what you want. So my advice is make sure that you finish the website in one language and then add this plugin and make sure that you also add the content for those other languages. And this is a little business tip. This is something that I let my clients do because I am not an expert at translating. I'm just gonna set it up for them and then they can change all the text to the right language. Okay, so now you know everything you need to know. Let's go to the dashboard and download the two plugins that we need. So if you go over to plugins, click on add new, you're gonna search for a plugin called Polylang. That's the main plugin that we need. So it's this one. It has already 600,000 active installs. So that means that it's a popular plugin. Also, the ratings are very good. And then just click on activate when it's done. Now it's gonna ask you a few questions. They want you to set it up like this, but I like to do it manually because we also need to set up some things with Elementor. So I'm gonna click on not right now. And then I'm gonna go back to the plugin section, click on add new and search for Polylang Connect for Elementor. Because the normal plugin doesn't allow you to change the Elementor template, which is what we need. So we're also gonna download this one. As you can see, good reviews, also 30,000 downloads. So click on install now and click on activate. And they will ask you a few things over here. Would you like to automatically translate your website for free? I do not have experience with this, but I know Google Translate and Google is very good with this kind of stuff. And even Google Translate is not perfect, so I wouldn't trust this. But maybe you wanna try it if your client doesn't have time and maybe want to do a little bit of tweaks. For now, I'm not going to do that because this client wants to add the text themselves and that's also the safest way to do. So that's what I'm going to show you. So you can click this one away. And what you want to do is go to the new languages tab over here and then click on languages. And as you can see, there are no languages right now. So first we're going to add the default language. So let's go over here. I'm going to search for German or Deutsch. That's the main language for me. So for most of you guys, it's gonna be English, maybe with the American flag. And you can leave this as it is, that's good. Left to right, yes. Germany, that's the flag. You can choose a different flag if you want to. And now just click on add new language. Alright, and as you can see, you have this star over here, and that means that this is the default language. So now if we're gonna add another language, which is gonna be English, then that language will not be default, and you can change that afterwards if you've done it in the wrong order. So we're gonna add another one, which is gonna be English, and I'm gonna add it from here, the Great Britain one. English, this is perfect, and then click on add new language. And as you can see right now, this one is still the default language, so that is perfect. But now we have two error messages, which are this one. You must translate your static front page to Deutsch or English, but we're gonna need this one first. There are post pages and galleries that without a language, so you have to set up all the things that you already created for the default language. So if you click over here, so let's go to pages right now and see what has changed. So here are the pages that I already created with Elementor in Deutsch, so in German, right? So let's go to the homepage, for example. This is the homepage, and I have put in the text myself with Elementor titles, just a static page with content. The only thing that is not static is this block, which of course is dynamic. And that's also in German. So for now, this is just lorem ipsum, because that's what I put in. So as you can see, all of these pages right here are German. And then we can add the English language. And if you add other languages, you will see extra flags over here. It's the same for posts. If you go to posts, I have created two blog posts now. And because we have said that all the content right now is German, now the blog posts are German, and we can add the translation for English. But before we're gonna add the translation, make sure that you check the settings. So go back to languages over here and go to settings. All right, so there are a few interesting settings over here. First of all, this one, click on it, and then you can see a few different settings. So here you can see that you can place the length code on the end of the URL or at the beginning, as you can see over here. I like to use this feature because it looks more clean, but if you want to use this feature, then you have some more options over here. So let's just keep it at this. All right, and then over here, you can hide the URL language information for the default language. That is nice, because then for most of the people that use the website, they're not gonna see the language code inside of the link, which is nice. You can also keep /language in the links, which is something that I don't really like. So for now, this is all I want, and I'm gonna click on Save Changes. And now the settings are saved. Okay, this is also nice, detect browser language. So by default, this is turned on. So that means that when somebody is an English person and his browser language is in English, that the website will automatically show the English version of the website. Super nice feature. You can turn it off right here if you want to, but I like to keep this on. What you also want to check is this one, custom post type and taxonomies. Make sure that you have everything checked that you need to translate. For this website, I have used Elementor templates, I have used theme parts, and I've used listing items. Listing items on this website don't need to be translated, but maybe you have a button right here that says read more, and then you also want to translate that. So then just also make sure that you have this one checked. This feature, by the way, pops up if you're using CrocoBlock, which I use right now in this video, but maybe you're using advanced custom fields, and then you will have different options over here. And the last thing that I want to check is synchronization. And that means that if you change something, for example, the page template, so you change the template from Elementor full width to Elementor canvas, that it automatically changes the other languages as well that is connected to that page. So for example, if you change the about page, it's gonna change the about page for all the 3 languages, not for Elementor elements, because that is something that this plugin cannot change. So for example, if you created a whole page with Elementor and you change something within Elementor, you change a column, width, or whatever, you add a new element, it will not synchronize. So that's not perfect. But I think it's smart that Elementor doesn't allow other plugins to change the actual things that happen on the Elementor editor. So I think that's just to keep everything safe, but that is something that you have to keep in mind with this plugin. Also, one thing that is nice, for example, is the featured image for blog posts, so that the featured image will also change for the other blog posts. So you can check a few options over here. For now, I'm gonna check these boxes because I don't use comments on this website, taxonomies, sticky post, and oh, maybe also the publish dates. That's also nice for the blog post. So for now, I'm just going to click on save changes, and now we're ready to add our first translation. All right, let's go to our pages and let's go to the home page. We're going to just click on the title over here, or click on edit. And then what you want to do, because this is a full Elementor page, let's open that page as well so you can see what's going on. So this is the Elementor page. As you can see, this is just text that I put in over here, just text fields. All right, so go back and then click over here, and we're gonna add a home page as well. So what I wanna do is I wanna click on the plus over here, and then I wanna give this a title. I'm also gonna call this home, but then it's gonna give it a name home 2, because the home page already exists. So this is not something that you can change. So even if you want to change it back to home, that's not possible because /home already exists, even though this is a different language. So what you have to do with pages that have the same name, which is not all pages, you have to add something to it. So for example, EN, which is English. It's not very pretty, but that is how I solve this issue. For most pages on this website, as you can see, these names are not English, so the names are going to change anyway, and then it's not a problem. So for the home and other pages that have the same name, you have to do something like this, unfortunately. Okay, so now again, we are in the English version. We have saved the home. The title is just home, but the link is just a little different. We're going to click on publish, and now we want to open this with the Elementor editor too. So now we are going to open the home page of the English version. Again, this plugin doesn't translate everything inside of it, but now we can change this over here. So, for example, welcome to. Let's only try this one because I'm gonna change everything later over here. Click on update, and now this already should work. So, if we go back to our page and click on the English version, this is the English version, welcome to. But we cannot go to the German version yet because we also need to change the header. So what you want to do is you want to go to your Elementor theme builder and you want to open your header template. So here it is. But before you click on it, make sure that you go to the right over here and also add an English translation for your header. So click on the plus and then call this header v1 English. That's what you want to do. Click on publish and then open it in Elementor. I'm gonna open it in a new tab. So then you wanna open it like this, and then we wanna add the flags. So if you go to the widgets over here, you can see this new widget over here. That is part of that plugin. So I wanna add a new column. So right click in this column and I'm gonna add a new column. By the way, if you don't know how to create a header with Elementor, I have a tutorial on this. You can click over there in the card or in the description to see how you can create a header like this. But I want to add a little bit of space for the flags that I want to import. So go over here and add the Polylang switcher and make sure to add it over here. And then it says Deutsch and English. So you want to change a few things over here. We want to show the flag, but we don't want to show the name. You can show the code, as I said over here. That's what you can do, but I just like to show the flags. All right, you can align this if you want to the right, for example, and then you can style this up a little bit, maybe give it a little bit of vertical space to make it match the text, and also make sure that you have enough space in between. All right, like this, that looks pretty good. The country flag, you can add a little bit of margin. There's not a lot you can do, but you don't need to do a lot in here. So if you click on update now, let's see what happens. All right, so we're going to go back to our website and we're going to click on refresh. And now what we can see is that we have two flags. Super nice. So if we click on the German version right now, because we now are at the English version, we can see that the German version of the homepage will show up. But now we don't have the flags over here. So we also need to edit the header, the normal header, the German header for this template. All right, so make sure that you have this one opened and this one, and now in the German version we also want to add that thing. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to copy everything in here. I'm just going to go over here, paste it, and then delete this old one so I don't have to change anything. So now let's see if it works. I'm going to save it, go back to our homepage, click on refresh. All right, willkommen bei, that's German. Click on English, and boom, it's English. Click on German again, and boom, it's German. Now this is nice, but we're not done yet because the menu still shows German pages. And this is because we haven't added the other pages. So let's test what happens when we're gonna translate this page over here. So what I want to do is I want to go on edit this page. I want to add a translation over here. So I'm gonna click on the English version. And this page was called Münzen, Medaillen, Auktionen, and that is a translation for coin medal auctions. All right, I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna add a new page. I'm gonna publish it without changing anything, and let's see what happens when we go back to the website. So I'm gonna go back to the home page, and I'm gonna click on the English page. And now it still doesn't show the English version of that page, even though it's published. So what you need to do now is you need to go to your menus, because we need another menu for each language. So I want to go back and I want to go to appearance and then menus. So now I have one menu that I've created, and now we need to create another menu for our other language. So I'm going to call this top main English and check the primary English checkbox and then click on create the menu. And also make sure that you go to your top main and make sure that this one is the primary Deutsch version. Click on the save menu. All right, so that is perfect. Now go to your English menu and make sure that you add the pages that you want. So now this is a little bit tricky because there are two home pages, but let's test if this is good. So we need home and we need coin medal auctions. Click on add to menu, make sure it's in the right order, click on save. So now we need to change the header template and tell Elementor that inside of our English header translation, we need to show this new menu. So let's go to our menu, but now I forgot which one it was, right? So let's just close this one, go back to the backend, go back to templates over here, and you can always see which one it was if you go over here. Luckily, I've also added this EN, but if you don't know, you just check it over here. This is the English version, and this is the German version. Right now, we need to go into the English version, open it, and let's change this menu to the English version. So now, top main EN. Click on update, and now this should work. So we're gonna click on the home page again and see if it works. All right, and now let's just click on the English version. And now it only shows the pages that I have added to this English version of the menu. So if I click on this, it shows the English version of this page. Right now it doesn't look good. You have to open it once with Elementor and make sure that you save it in order for it to work. I don't know why, but now it should work. So now I'm at the English version of this page, click on the German one, and now I'm at the German one and the German menu shows. So now you already know what to do. You also need to create an English version for your footer template and for any template that has specific language inside of it. So sometimes, for example, with a blog post, you only have dynamic fields. So for example, the title, the date, and then the content. So in that example, you don't have to change the template. But sometimes it happens that then it doesn't work because this plugin doesn't see a translation for that actual template, and then it keeps it empty, which is not what you want. So sometimes it happens that you have to create a copy of your Elementor template, your dynamic template, and just save it in the same way so that the plugin knows that there is something that they can load the content in. So again, this works the same way for posts. If you want to translate this post, you just click over here, you make sure that the title is different, and then the translation of this post will show up when there is a translation. So for now, I am at the German version of a post that is not translated yet. So now if I click on English, it's gonna redirect me to the home, which is perfect because if there's no translation, you don't want the user to go to a 404 page. It's nice that this plugin automatically redirects you to the home page when there is no translation for that page. So this is also a way that you can test your website. Okay, and the last thing that I want to show is your mobile responsiveness for your menu. You can check your mobile responsiveness like this. And now, of course, you need to change the menu a little bit. So make sure that you always have a little bit of margin on the left and on the right, and make sure that you edit the width of the columns inside of it. So for example, for this one, I'm gonna pick 60 for the logo. I'm gonna pick 20 for our lovely hamburger icon, and also 20 for this one, which is not enough, but maybe that is because of the styling. So maybe you want to change it up a little bit like this, and then make sure to, of course, change this up so everything is nicely aligned in the middle. But again, this is not a tutorial for your header template, but as you can see, this also works on mobile phones. So you can play with the settings over here to make sure that it looks nice on a mobile phone. Alright, I'm gonna click on update for now. And I know that this tutorial was a little bit more technical. It's not a beginner friendly thing, so I recommend that you don't offer this to your client if you don't really understand this tutorial. So if you have any questions, then you can leave them down in the comments below, and I try to answer most of the questions, but I also like it when you guys help each other, because we are just a community. I cannot answer all of the questions, so please help each other with any issues. And I know this is a tutorial that you guys really wanted me to make, so if you have other ideas for tutorials, then you can also put them in the comments. And then I want to thank you for watching, and I hopefully will see you in the next video.